This is Julie from Big Awesomeness, and today we're going to talk about mats. I have owned a lot of mats over my time doing yoga, and I would say that anyone who's been doing this for more than a couple of years has probably gone through a couple of different mats on their own. So I'm just going to talk to you a little about what my favorite mats are and why I chose them and why they are still in my life. So when I went to my very first class, and let me tell you, I went to my first class not knowing a damn thing about yoga. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I had just this pink cheap mat by Gaiam that I had purchased at Target. Actually, I'm not even sure I bought it. I think it was given to me as a present, one of those, girl, you need to do yoga, take this mat and run with it kind of things. And so I took this to my first class and I tried to use it, and I went to a heated power flow class and I was sweating like a pig. It was just pouring off of me. And I was slipping all over my mat. It was a fairly thin mat, so we would do poses that involved being on the knees, and in my head I'm screaming, what the hell are you doing? Go home, this is not for you. And so I went home thinking, I don't know if I'm ever going to do that again. But then I was like, no, there has to be a better mat out there. Nobody else looked as miserable as I did, and I don't think that's just because I was a beginner and it was so stinking hot in there. So I did some reading, did a little research, and started seeing that, there are better mats out there in the world. And so I went to Lululemon, and go ahead, tell me fatties should hate Lululemon because Lululemon hates fatties. Totally get it. Whatever. I went to Lululemon because that's where I knew had the mat that everybody was raving about online, and that was the Manduka Black Mat PRO. And that happens to be what I'm sitting on right now. This is my all-time favorite mat. I've had this one for about 3 years, and oh look, there's a little crystal sequiny thing stuck on it. I've had this one for about 3 years, and honestly it looks almost brand new, except for the spots right up here where you can see that my feet drag when I move from like lunge back to plank, or forward from down dog into lunge or warrior. I just need to get better at doing that. And so there you go. This mat is wonderful. It has shown no wear at all, and it has gotten a lot of use. I use it a lot at home. I take it to classes with me sometimes. The biggest downside of it is that it is fairly heavy. I think it weighs about 7 pounds. It does have a lifetime guarantee though, and it's kind of pricey. I think they're going for a little over $100 now. I think they were a little less than $100 when I bought mine. But given that I've never had to replace it, and it's seen me through so much, and I can do Anjaneyasana on it without killing my knee, it's been worth every dollar. It's even seen me through my yoga teacher training, and that was a lot of sitting around on the floor during various discussions and pose clinics. So, beautiful mat. Another mat that I have that I really love is this one. This is the Manduka Travel Light Super Extra Thin one. It's their travel mat. And as you can see, like, this thing is teeny tiny thin. It's not going to give you much in the way of padding, but it's great if you are traveling, because, I'm going to roll this out for you. It's so thin, look at it. It's so thin that you can just fold it, and it folds down into a fairly compact little package. You can fold it and put it into the bottom of your suitcase. I mean, this goes with me when I'm traveling for anything work related, and I usually only carry on, and I can still take this mat with me. Now, the thing about this mat is, like I said, almost no padding. It is really nice and non-slippy though. So it's great on like the carpeted floor inside of a hotel room, or if you go to a class, wherever you're going, and you borrow a mat or rent a mat and you're a little like weird about germs, because sometimes I am, you can take this mat and just lay it out on top of the studio's mat, and you don't have to worry about squirming around on other people's sweat germs, which is nice. And then my third mat, which I have only just recently fallen in love with, and I know everyone's going to judge again because I'm about to say the evil empire's name. This is the mat from Lululemon. That's what they call it. That's not me being poncy. It's called the mat. It's also fairly thick, so you get a good amount of cushion out of it for if you have knees that don't like pressure like mine. But the really amazing thing about this mat is it's got two usable sides. So this side, the dark side, is sort of the typical rubberized texture that you're going to find on most rubber mats. This side, however, is somewhat magical. This stuff is made out of the same stuff that they use to make that wrap for tennis racket handles. And it covers this whole side of it. And the beauty of this is that this sucker does not slip at all. With my Manduka mats, if I go to a heated class, which is what I usually do, I have to usually lay down a towel. If not at the beginning of the class, definitely by about a third of the way through, because it's sweaty and I'm starting to get a little slippy on there. So I have to lay down like a Yogi Toes towel or something like that. And they work brilliantly, so I don't really have any complaints about that. What I have found though, with this mat, in those same heated, super sweaty classes, is I don't need to take an extra big towel to lay down across it. I can just use the mat. I usually have a hand towel to wipe the sweat off of my face and out of my eyes, but I no longer have to like lay down a big towel on top of the mat, which means I have to carry that towel and I have to wash that towel. This, when my sweat hits it, I can see like these little dark spots where sweat has hit it like raindrops, or if I've put my head on it in something like balasana or child's pose. But what happens is that it just goes away. Like it just sucks down in there, so it never gets slippery. And my hands in down dog just stay. It's like a freaking miracle, I'm telling you. So I get it. There are a lot of people who are down on Lululemon these days and they don't want to support their products, and I get that, and I support it to a certain extent. But really, this mat is amazing. I love this mat. And bonus, it's only very slightly thinner than my Manduka, but I still get the cushion, and it's about 1.5 pounds less. So it's still heavy. It still comes in at about 5.5 pounds, but it's less heavy than this. So it's a little more convenient for carrying back and forth to class. So that's just a little rundown of my favorite mats. Hope you liked it. Thanks.